no. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Good morning, Bronco Nation. Welcome to Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com, the show you've been waiting for. 30 minutes to get you set. The matchup is finally set. Fresno State, Northern Illinois, today in the Potato Bowl. Mike Prater.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. And I would imagine the crowd's going to be packed. Probably not so much. There might be more people at Spencer Danielson's press conference right across the parking lot. But, hey, it's football season and cannot wait. It's always good to have a big-time bowl game here in town. And I got some friends that are going. And I'm going to sneak over there and check out a little bit of that game. So let's have
Mike Prater is at home today. There's no Idaho sports talk, so he's dealing with spotty Wi-Fi. We'll do the best we can. At times you can see him better than other times. You can hear him better at other times. So we'll keep our fingers crossed so we can get through 30 minutes with Mike Prater today here on Bronco Nation News Live. The matchup is finally set. We're going to talk about Boise State and Penn State coming up in the Fiesta Bowl. And Penn State fans, travel companies already selling packages to the Orange Bowl. I know, and there's a lot of talk out there and about this was the easiest path and Penn State, and we're going to get into all that and some of the comments being made by some national folks out there. But Boise State basketball did get a big win over the weekend as well against Air Force. They're 1-0 in conference play, so may have a thought or two on that later in the show. But Mike, I think this was the matchup we thought was going to happen. The higher ranked team, the home team, Penn State winning this game. I think most people expected this to be the matchup. I think most people wanted this matchup. Penn State, the bigger name brand team, the bigger, sexy name, I guess you could say, in terms of who Boise State wanted to play. I mean, let us know in the ICCU YouTube chat, but I would assume most of you wanted to play Penn State. I think that the matchup is better for Boise State. I know a lot of the individual stats look good, but maybe I'm wrong. You guys tell me, but I was watching that I watched that game against Penn State SMU, and at no time during that game did I say, man, Boise State's got no chance to win this game. I really watched that game thinking, okay, Boise State can hang with this team and I think can beat this team. I really do. And I think Penn State is a very good team. They only lost by 7 to Ohio State earlier in the season, only lost by 8 in the championship game to number 1 Oregon. They beat a ranked Illinois team 21-7. Obviously now have a 28-point win over a number 11 ranked SMU team, but struggled to beat Bowling Green earlier in the season, struggled to win at USC earlier in the season, barely got almost lucky, I would say, but barely won by 1 point at Minnesota late in the season. So they've had their issues as well in terms of games that they didn't necessarily look great in. So I think this is a nice matchup for Boise State. I actually really do. I think you'd rather play the name kind of sexy team at this point. As Blake says, never played Penn State. I like that. I agree. When everyone says it, they said, Florida State, Oklahoma, Georgia, Virginia Tech, Oregon. You just kind of name the teams. Well, I think now you can add Penn State. If Boise State's able to win, you just add Penn State to that list of famous big name teams that Boise State has been able to beat. So I think it's a nice matchup for Boise State. Things could change closer to kickoff, but right now, I feel pretty good about it for Boise State. I got some weird feeling. I think Boise State has a really good chance to win this game. I think everyone's counting them out, which we're going to get to. No one's giving them any chance, which Boise State just seems to thrive in. And for whatever reason, this just feels like a game that Boise State really can have a chance to play well in and have a chance to win this game. So we got Mike Prater back now. I can hear you, Mike. We were just talking about this matchup with Penn State. I think was the one that fans wanted. I think it's probably the one the team wanted. Just the name Penn State. It's a sexier name, and I do think they have a good chance to win, but not necessarily even from that standpoint. Just who's the bigger opponent? Who makes it a bigger game? I think it's Penn State, and that's what we get.
Well, that's the great debate, though. I mean, do you want the bigger brand? You want to take the bigger risk, the bigger reward in playing Penn State? Because that football team scares the crap out of me in terms of the matchup. I'm not saying Boise State can't win it, but that is a scary, scary, physical dominating football team. And Tyler Warren, the tight end, it's going to take 11 guys on defense to stop that guy. Or do you want the football team that's not the bigger brand, the SMUs of the world, and do you want Kevin Jennings to throw 17 interceptions for you and you get a couple of pick sixes out of it? So maybe SMU is a little bit better. I shouldn't say an easier victory. I shouldn't go there, but I get where you're coming from. That Penn State game is going to be a blast, but man, that football team is scary.
They are, and they're a very good team. And yeah, I was going through some of their scores. I mean, they're the number 8 rush defense in the country. So obviously they're going to, their strength is what Boise State's strength is, running the football, and they're good at stopping the run. And that's going to be a huge key to this game. And by the way, Nathan Carroll, who does an outstanding job with the numbers, we just posted it earlier this morning, get to know Penn State. And so a lot of the numbers, what it says about Penn State, how they got to this point, where their strengths are, their weaknesses. We'll get into the matchup later this week, but in terms of just what can I, know about Penn State that when we're opening presents here in the next day or two, I can, talk to my family about. You can read that at BroncoNationNews.com, and we'll get to some of the topics on Penn State. And yes, I'm taking nothing away from them. I just personally, Mike Prater, when I watched that game, I didn't think, man, Boise State's got no chance in this one. Like I thought SMU, for all the talk on Penn State's defense, I mean, you couldn't have had, a couple of those interceptions, Jennings literally threw it right to the guy. I mean, the guy caught it. He ran it back great, but I just can't give Penn State's defense a ton of credit for a couple of those plays. They just handed him the ball. And Penn State's very good. I get it. I did not watch that game and go, oh, man, there's no chance Boise State can win this game. I thought Penn State, to me, at least for most of that game, looked like a team Boise State could beat.
No, and I do agree with that. And the interception stuff, yeah, that was handed on a platter. And I'm not so much worried about the back end of that. I'm more worried about the front end of Penn State's defense. The physicality of it scares me. And, the physicality of the first round really scares me. What was the average margin of victory in those 4 games was 3 touchdowns. And that scares me because you got 4 blue bloods out there just dominating. And that kind of sets the tone for this tournament. And that scares me a little bit. But, Penn State's defensive line, Abdul Carter, is certainly going to get after it. But the fact that Boise State has the most healthiest offensive line that they've had all season long, and some really good players, I think they can come up with a pretty good scheme to try to neutralize Carter as much as humanly possible. So it's more about the physicality and then trying to stop, Tyler Warren. Again, the physicality of that dude, 6'6", 265 pounds. And what, are you going to stick a Ty Benefield on him? What, he's 6'1", 205 or something like that. It's going to take a team effort. But, yeah, I absolutely 100% came away from that game thinking Boise State has a chance. There's no doubt about that. Penn State does have some warts. But the physicality and what happened in the first round, that's what scares me.
Yeah, and they do have, two of the best players in the country, one on each side of the ball. You mentioned Tyler Warren and what he's doing at tight end, and he's got some pretty good numbers. I think over 1,292 scrimmage yards, 10 touchdowns, even threw a pass for earlier this season as well on a trick play. So, yeah, Tyler Warren, the tight end, is going to be a very high pick in the draft and certainly a guy that's going to cause some matchup issues, for Boise State. But, I mean, you know what? Like, Boise State's gone up against really good players, and Eric Chenander's found a way to scheme these guys up. So I guess I'm just kind of assuming, like, they're going to find a way to limit this guy and do what they have to do. I was not, I know Penn State has some, some good running backs as well. Two of them. They have kind of share the load, and I read an AP article where they're trying to say the two of them are better than Genty, and we'll see what happens there. But I didn't watch their rushing attack and go, man, Boise State's got no chance to slow these guys down. Their offensive coordinator Andy Kolonicki was at Kansas last year. He is a very, I was super sad to see him go. It was one of the reasons Kansas started out slow this year in terms of figuring out the offense, and he's very multiple, a lot of shifts in motion, spread you out, do a lot of different trick plays and things. And it's a very creative offense. But I just, in terms of what they actually run, it sounds like I'm saying Boise State's going to win this game by 50. I'm certainly not. When I watched that game, I was not, I didn't think, this is going to be a tough one for Boise State. And you mentioned, certainly Abdul Carter, too, on the other side of the ball. 11 sacks on the season. He's got 56 pressures. According to Nathan Carroll, that's ninth highest in the country. His 22.3% win rate. So when he rushes, how much does he, accomplish the mission in terms of getting to the quarterback? Fourth best in the country. He's second. He has the second best pass rushing grade in the country, according to Pro Football Focus as well. And I know Micah Parsons, he's getting a lot of comparisons to him. So, certainly going to be, Maddox Madsen in this game, and we'll get into the X's and O's of breaking this game down and as we get closer to the game. But you saw what happened. I mean, the quarterback literally just handed a couple of possessions right to Penn State, and in one instance, it was James Franklin, which is why I definitely think Boise State has a chance in this game. Deciding to go for a 4th and 1 from his own 20-yard line when it's 14-0, and they get stuffed, and it looks like, okay, SMU's right back in this game. They're already inside the red zone, and then 2 plays later or whatever, I guess Penn State, James Franklin's a genius. He knew Kevin Jennings was on the other side, but just an all-time bad throw right to the guy at the 10-yard line, and that could have been 14-7, and who knows what happens in that game. So I just thought that the turnovers were, not even trying to thread a needle. They were just terrible passes. So Maddox Madsen in this game cannot have the horrible interceptions, which he hasn't had all year. Maddox Madsen, and anytime you mention this, people want to say, oh, there's been 6 drops, and he's got to have the most dropped interceptions in the country. I get it, but every quarterback has dropped interceptions on the other side. I mean, has Maddox Madsen at times gotten a little lucky this year? Sure. And they're going to need that to continue in this game. But Maddox Madsen has to continue to do what he's done, take care of the football, not throw the bad interceptions, and not take the sacks or fumbles or things as you're talking about with their defensive line. If Maddox Madsen can keep them on schedule, keep them on track, avoid the bad interception, and then let Ashton Genty do his thing, I think the offense is going to be able to put up some points in this game.
The only reason that Penn State dominated that football game is because SMU's quarterback was not only terrible, but just making terrible decisions and not playing a smart game, not playing a clean game, just playing almost like street ball. And, there's some romance about playing football like Brett Favre, but it drives me crazy, especially in a game like that. And I just don't understand. He's got 10 interceptions in his last 8 games now, and they're just sloppy, stupid, dumb. That's the one thing. On one side, you think, okay, Maddox Madsen's going to face a lot of pressure, and he's going to come under the scenario that you just talked about. Can he throw the ball in the middle without, dropping out of a defensive player's hands? Because those are the kind of interceptions that where Madsen's got lucky this year. So that he's going to have to fight that pressure. But at the same time, the dude has been clean all season long, clean. and he's been clean for the most part for 12, 13 football games. So Maddox Madsen can play a clean football game. He's not going to make the stupid mental decisions and the stupid mental mistakes that Kevin Jennings did. That's definitely advantage Boise State. And I think Boise State's offensive line can neutralize Penn State's Carter and some of those other guys just a little bit. So the fact that if they can buy a half a second up front, and Maddox Madsen's going to take care of the ball on the backside, I do like that. I do like that an awful lot. Now the 11, we talked a lot about over the weekend about the 11, 12-point spread. I think some of you guys were thinking maybe that's a little bit too high. I thought that was right about right. I thought somewhere around 8 or 9 is kind of what I had dancing in my head, and then it pops up to be 11. So kind of in that same neighborhood at this point. I'm not sure I'm not sure if Boise State's going to win this football game. BJ, if it stays at 11 double-digit points, I'm absolutely taking the points.
Yeah, and I guess it's not like I thought Boise State would be favored, but I was thinking somewhere in that 7-8 range. So when I saw it get to double digits, I thought that was a little high. I mean, I think a lot of that's probably inflated based on what Penn State did to SMU, which we just said a lot of that was SMU doing it to SMU. So as you know, Mike, I mean, these games against the quote unquote power teams is often decided in the trenches. And a lot of times it's why I didn't like a matchup with the SEC, because just the physical size and physicality of the offensive and defensive lines is typically a pretty big difference. But I think Boise State's offensive line being healthy in this game, Cage Casey, his chance to kind of shine on a national stage here. I'm really not worried about, but I don't know. I'm worried about certain elements of this game, but I'm just not super worried about Penn State scoring a ton of points against them. I think this is a lower scoring game, but I think this like 28-24 or something like, maybe 30-24, 30-20. I don't know what the numbers, how you get to, at least Sterling had a weird 32-16 that I was still trying to figure out last week. But, I think that, I think Boise State's got to be feeling great about this. We're going to get to it in a second. I have a clip to play, but I mean, no one's giving them a chance. The matchup, how it's playing out, Mike, neither side of the ball, like just total, like, oh, Penn State's offense is just going to dominate. Oh, Penn State's defense, like both sides are solid, but I think Boise State can move the ball on them. I think they can score enough points, and I think that this is not some mobile quarterback that you have to worry about, running a lot. And I just think that the defense, I have faith in Eric Chinander. Any of these big games they've had this year, Eric Chinander has been ready and has had a plan. And whether it's Oregon, whether it was the UNLV, like anytime we were worried about the other team's offense, Eric Chinander had unique blitzes dialed up and unique things dialed up. And that is going to be key in this game, getting pressure on their quarterback. Can do these exotic blitzes and pressures work against a Big Ten offensive line? I mean, we're gonna find out. But I have faith in Eric Chinander having a good game plan ready to go, and I have faith in Dirk Cutter in this offense that they're going to methodically be able to score enough points. I really do. Like, double digits. Like, yeah, I definitely like Boise State. But I mean, I think there's value on the money line. I really do. But I don't know what the number is. But if it's going to be a 11-point spread, you're probably in the 250 range at least for the money line. I think Boise State, this is one of their prime spots. And I see no reason why they can't right there in the four. What I feel very confident in, Mike Prater, is it's not what people are saying is, we're going to have more blowouts this round. I would be shocked if Boise State was non-competitive in this game. Even if Boise State loses this game, that's why I think the spread is so appealing. I just don't see this team losing by, more than 14 points. I just don't. The way they play football, the way they run the football, the way they're going to control the clock in this game at times too. I just see this being a lower scoring game, but I think I would be shocked if Boise State's not, more competitive than an SMU was.
Yeah, no, I agree with most of that. I mean, I think I agree with all that. And, the one thing that really gives me an advantage, and you were talking about the matchup, Boise State, I'm not so much worried about the physicality, although we kind of opened up by talking about the physicality that Penn State brings to this game, and that might be the one scary part. Boise State's going to be fine when it comes to the physicality. I mean, and there's going to be advantages for Boise State when it comes to the physicality. The one thing that I wanted to see Boise State avoid was SEC-type speed. I don't think Boise State's football team is very fast. I think that's been one kind of missing link this year of a great football team becoming an elite football team, especially on the defense, some of the speed. And Penn State has no speed whatsoever. So I'm not so much worried about Penn State coming after him with speed. Boise State's not going to lose this game with the speed factor. So, and I think they can match up physicality wise. So I think it's a good matchup, BJ. I really do.
Yeah. Skylar says Penn State looks slow. Didn't see a ton of speed.
Yeah.
From it was a cold outdoor game. You're inside on a turf, all that. I get it, but that's it. Penn State is and I'll be proven wrong, I'm sure, but you just think Penn State, you think physical, run the football, defense, lower scoring game. And I mentioned they brought in Andy Kolenicki, who is an offensive guy that, at times their offense has done some things and they've scored some points, and they do have one of the higher ranked, they've scored the last, Maryland, they scored 44, 37 against Oregon, Purdue 49, Washington 35. But, I said earlier, Mike, they only won by 1 point at Minnesota. They struggled to barely beat USC at USC 33-30. And let me find the exact number here. There's our man Nathan Carroll in his article here that is up at BroncoNationNews.com. Paying subscribers can go read this. But he noted the differences at home and on the road for Penn State this season. And I know a lot of that, Mike, has to do with who you play. I mean, in a one-game sample size, who'd you get at home, who'd you get on the road? I know it's not just as easy as that. But at home, Penn State was 7-1, average margin of victory of 22.5 points. And that's where they beat Illinois. They beat 35-6 over Washington, 44-7 over Maryland, obviously the 38-10 over SMU. Their lone home loss was the 13-20 to Ohio State. But away from home, they're 5-1, but the average margin is only 12. So they average, their wins by more than 10 points a game more at home than on the road. And if you take out two teams, he said, that fired their coaches, West Virginia and Purdue, in the competitive games, they only average margin of victory in their 4 road games was 2.75. We mentioned the USC 33-30 overtime, 26-25 against Minnesota, and then obviously the Oregon game. But even some of their rushing stats, I believe it's 1 yard. Let me find this here. I did my own research on this, Mike. So the rush defense for Penn State ranks 7th in the country. And again, I know a lot of this has to do with who you play. But at home, they give up 2.6 yards per carry. On the road or neutral site, it's almost 4 yards per carry. It's over a yard per game more on the road. They've only given up 7 rushing touchdowns all season. 6 of the 7 were on the road. So I know we're grasping for straws a little bit. Even the road numbers are still good, but Penn State has shown that they're not quite as dominant on the road or on a neutral side as they are at home.
Yeah, and this is absolutely going to be a neutral site game, and I'm talking just about the fan split in terms of. I was thinking about this over the weekend. Boise State fans have had a 10-day jump, 2-week jump to get on the fans, and Boise State's going to have 25,000 plus down there. Maybe I don't know if they can push 30. We'll see how it shakes out. And a lot of Penn State fans are scrambling. Penn State's still going to have its 25,000 plus as well, because that's what Penn State does. But there's no way that this is going to be advantage Penn State. I think when the announcers come on and ESPN comes on with the crew, it's going to be a 50-50 split, maybe 40-40 with 20% locals. And the locals are going to probably favor a Boise State, because in those kinds of neutral site games, if the underdog can get off to a quick start, the undecideds are going to jump on board with that, because they want to see that story, and they certainly know Boise State's story in the Fiesta Bowl. So I think there's a lot of momentum there for Boise State to treat this like a quasi home game, certainly not a road game, and certainly not a home game for Penn State, even though you would think it'd be massive advantage for Penn State. That's not going to happen.
Yes, I got a couple more comments on that part of this. Hold that thought for just a second, Mike. I got a video I want to play, and I got a couple of thoughts on that, but I do want to thank a couple sponsors real quick. Our studio sponsor is Western Collective. Check them out. The Horseshoe Golden Ale, the Orange Chaos Seltzer, available Extra Mile Arena the rest of the basketball season, and they're having a watch party there at their brewery in Garden City. If you are heading to you're not heading to the Fiesta Bowl, and you're going to be around town on New Year's Eve, head to the brewery in Garden City. Western Collective, great food and drink specials. Help out the Horseshoe Collective. Put some money back in the pockets of student athletes at Boise State, and watch the game in a festive atmosphere with other Boise State fans. Again, New Year's Eve, Western Collective's brewery there in Garden City. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. We appreciate Andy Rowe and company. They're back on board for another year. Check them out, roepaint.com. Andy Rowe and company, our title sponsor. All your concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting. Now is the perfect time to schedule for the first part of the 2025 year. So if you've got some painting work you need done, hit up our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and company. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile eBranch online banking right there on your smartphone. So easy to use. We just wish the Raines family had known this and made the switch earlier. You may like your bank. I can promise you'll like the folks over at ICCU better. I think Mike Prater's even a happy ICCU customer. Make the switch today. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Matt Boucher Real Estate. He gives out the Boucher Real Estate Player of the Game for every game. Alvaro Cardenas the other night, 12 assists against Air Force. He got the Boucher Real Estate Player of the Game. When you buy or sell a home from Matt and his team, you get to know everybody in that picture there because it's a personalized service every step of the way. Somebody handles the appraisals. Somebody handles the walkthrough. Somebody handles the inspection. It's customer service at its finest. And I know everybody has 5 friends that are realtors, but I highly recommend you check out Matt Boucher and his team, Boucher Real Estate. He's now an official partner with Boise State, and he's part of the Boise State home team. So he's backing it up, and hopefully you'll return the favor and use Matt for your next purchase of a car of a apartment. Townhome, whatever you're looking for there with Matt Boucher and Boucher Real Estate. Ridley's Family Markets as well. 13 locations in the state of Idaho, surrounding states. You can check them out. I know Johnny Ballgame's a big frequenter of the one in Cuna. Check them out, shopridleys.com. Ridley's Family Markets. We appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News over the years, and even going back to my previous employer. They've been a big sponsor and supporter of mine, so we appreciate Ridley's Family Markets. Get that Skip app and get the savings up to 40% off at the checkout line there at shopridleys.com. Looking forward to this, Mike Prater, the day before the Fiesta Bowl, December 30th at noon. We even got Prater and the ball game to come on out. You guys are going to be joining us out here, right?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Tell me more. It's
going to be awesome. December 30th at noon, horse racing history. When I heard horse racing, I just knew Johnny had to be there. I know Patsy's going to be ready to go. I can't wait to find out the winners from Patsy before the races start here. But December 30th at noon, Turf Paradise Racetrack. It's just north of Phoenix a little bit. It's about 20 minutes from our media hotel in Scottsdale. Not too bad of a drive. And they were making horse racing history. A lot of people kept asking me, what fan events are going on? What's going on for the fans? What are we going to do? And the official Fiesta Bowl parade is on Saturday. A lot of people aren't even in town yet for that. So people are coming in town Saturday, Sunday. You're looking for something to do the day before the game. Well, we got you covered here. Turf Paradise Racetrack, December 30th at noon. 10 races culminating with 3 big National Thoroughbred League championship races, including the Bronco Nation Stakes. And I don't know exactly what time the race is going to be and the showtime for Johnny and Prater, but I'm going to be down there. Maybe we can get Johnny and Prater down there in the winner's circle as well to give out the trophy to the winner of the Bronco Nation Stakes. And that is going to be horse racing history. 300 years of thoroughbred racing. They've never had a turf race on a color other than green. And so they're going to have a blue home stretch there on the turf, and they're going to have a horse race on blue turf in honor of Boise State. And we're excited for this. It's going to be a fun day to hang out. Johnny and Prater are going to be doing their show down there. There's going to be a beer garden, great food, drinks, betting stations, meet and greets with NFL players, Boise State football alums. I know Leighton Vander Esch is now confirmed. They've got Austin Pettis. They've got Shea McClellan. So all legends. Alex Guerrero is going to be there. They're adding more players too. Even Dr. J, who's like part owner of this company, is going to be there if you want to meet one of the NBA all-time greats. But the cool thing about this is they're working on getting kind of the cheerleaders and the mascots. They may get a mascot race, the Nittany Lion against Buster Bronco at some point on the track. And then they're going to have all kinds of cool stuff. There's a beer garden, like I said. There's a VIP area for those that want it, but you get 20% off using the promo code BNN20. I'll drop that link in the chat while Prater's talking here. BNN20 is the promo code to that, and it's going to be 12 to 4. They scheduled this around the official pep rally. The official Boise State pep rally is later in the evening, I think 4 to 7. So this will be like 12 to 4. The first race starts at noon. Come hang out with other Boise State fans. And they are donating, Mike Prater, for every beer sold at this event, $1 to the Horseshoe Collective. So you want to help put some money back in the student-athletes' pockets at Boise State, have a couple beverages, some money gets donated back to the collective, and everybody wins here. And it's going to be, whether you like horse racing or not, it should be 70 degrees, sunny, beautiful weather, and hanging out with other Boise State fans and listening to the smooth voices of Mike Prater and Johnny Ballgame. And this should be a lot of fun, Mike.
You had me at blue turf and beer garden. Those are 2 of my favorite words right there. So blue turf and beer garden. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be really cool. I'm glad you jumped on board with this. And I'm proud to have jumped on board with our show as well. So we'll do our regular show 3 to 6. Don't forget, guys, Arizona's the same exact time as Boise right now, Mountain Time. So we're going to be doing our regular show 3 to 6. But that noon to 3 window, it's going to be very festive. We're going to get you involved. We'll get a lot of those players involved. I've been ordered by my wife to make sure that we talk to Julius Erving. That's her all-time favorite athlete. So I finally got my wife to be very, very jealous about something sports-wise. So, yeah, we're looking – can you imagine blue turf, beer garden, Prater, ball game, BJ, Leighton Vander Esch, and Dr. J? Sign me up for that party every single day, BJ.
I hope a lot of folks come out. Would love to meet some of you guys and just hang out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Would love to meet a lot of you guys. And it's going to be the day before the game, like that last push, waiting for game day to arrive. And that's going to be something fun to do. So looking forward to that. Okay, Mike, I don't know how much you've been on social media this weekend, but I have yet to see one national media member not only pick Boise State to win this game, but frankly, even have a good chance to win this game. The narrative is just Penn State pushing on. Are we going to get more blowouts in the next round? Even Stanford Steve and Scott Van Pelt on their podcast were talking about more blowouts. We saw, I don't know if it was Matt Hasselbeck, whoever it was on ESPN, right after those Saturday game ended. I posted the clip of him talking to Scott Van Pelt about, we had these blowouts, and you look at Boise State, Penn State, we could see it again in the next round. There's people not only thinking Boise State won't win this game, thinking they might get blown out in this game. Mike Prater, social media was not around, and I was not in Boise during the 2006 Fiesta Bowl, season and that undefeated season. So I don't know, but the point spread in that game, as I recall, was only 7 somehow. It was a 7-point spread. So, and this spread is 11. It seems to me like more people are counting Boise State out in this game than did in that game. Maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't around here. I don't know the social media. There was no social media buzz back then, but you can't find anybody really giving Boise State much of a chance in this game. And I'm going to ask Spencer Danielson about it today. His kind of quote went viral the first day. Please count us out. It's now a T-shirt that the whole team has and is wearing, and they're selling for $25 at the Blue and Orange store. And it's been their best-selling T-shirt of all the Fiesta Bowl gear, the Please Count Us Out shirt. It seems like Boise State thrives in this situation. Keep it coming. Spencer Danielson's like, keep it coming. Yep. But it is. There's no shortage of bulletin board material for Boise State the last couple of days.
No, and they love that kind of stuff. And Spencer Danielson, he's probably got a staffer assigned to just all that kind of stuff right there in terms of, tell me everything you hear, tell me everything you see, tell me everything you read, and let's make sure we pass that chip on the shoulder on to everybody. Ashton Jeanty is getting healthier and he's more confident, and he's going to be meaner than ever because all these people are talking about the Abdullah Carters and Penn State's run defense. So that Ashton Jeanty is going to come in highly, highly motivated. And there's a great history of the Heisman curse or Heisman motivation. And that's not going to be a problem with Ashton Jeanty in terms of, I know he didn't win it, but he's going to be highly motivated and he's going to want to go out and play and prove it. And I would never want to be the guy that told Ashton Jeanty, we're going to stop you. That guy has got so much. I just go back to the Wyoming game, 15 yards, 20 yards, 15 yards, 3 straight carries to save the game, to save the season. This guy puts his football team on his back. And when people are challenging him and his football team, he's going to come out highly motivated and highly hungry. So I like that chances, and I like the fact that Boise State is in this role. They were in this role. Yeah, you're right. There was no social media for that first original Fiesta Bowl, but a lot of the conversation I'm hearing right now, and it's early, and I kind of laid low. I didn't see a lot of social media this weekend, but I saw enough to tell me that I'm getting a Oklahoma vibe about disrespect, about this game's going to be a blowout, and Boise State quietly, silently, assassin-like is just kind of laying in the weeds and ready to pounce.
Somebody said the spread of the first Fiesta Bowl was 13.5. I don't remember it being that high at all. I really thought it was, you expect it to be, and I thought I remembered looking back at it and seeing somebody else said they thought it was 14. So maybe it was higher than I thought. I could be wrong on that, but I thought something told me that spread was a lot smaller than you'd think it was going into that game. But regardless, I don't see much. And before I play this clip, this is not Penn State. This is not the official. This is a Bronco Nation news version of Penn State. Okay. A media outlet that covers the team, but they're, putting the James Franklin post-game press conference from the game against SMU on their YouTube channel, like we would. But this is the video, and it's going to be paused for a second so I can play it. But this is how they start their video. This is what they're currently selling on their. This is what they're selling tickets for, Mike Prater. If you're wanting to, let's watch the James Franklin video. Here's the start of their video.
Penn State has defeated SMU and is on to the Fiesta Bowl versus Boise State. If they win, they're headed to the semifinals of the college football playoff and the Orange Bowl. Book your all-inclusive trip to sunny Florida right now with Collegiate Athletic Travel, the leader in Penn State Bowl travel.
All right, so I hope you could hear that. I don't know if you could, but they're selling Orange Bowl packages. And here's the crawl at the bottom of the screen as James Franklin is talking about winning the first-round game and getting ready to play against, Boise State. And you can book your trip for the Orange Bowl at athletictravel.com. Not your trip to the Fiesta Bowl, Collegiate Athletic Travel. If any of you guys are interested in that, I guess you can go there and check that out. But, James Franklin, bottom of the screen there. If you're a Penn State fan, no, don't worry about the Fiesta Bowl. Just go ahead and go straight for the Orange Bowl. Save your money, Mike Prater.
Wow, I had not seen that, so that's a pretty powerful clip, really. And I'm not sure how Boise State processes that, but that's crazy. And it goes back to what we were talking about in terms of if you're a fan, are you deciding to go to the Fiesta Bowl at the last minute, or are you decided to go to the Orange Bowl, where you play in a national semifinal for the right to play in a national championship game, and you probably can save $1,000 by planning something that's more down the road in terms of travel. So that's very interesting, BJ, and I would imagine they'll play that at Boise State as well. That's part of the motivation factor for sure.
And that's not Penn State. That's, again, some travel company putting packages together, and a media outlet like mine made some money off it. They're selling it. I get it. So that's not the official. Let's make that clear. That's not necessarily Penn State. But in terms of the fans, if you're a Penn State fan, are you going to pay to go all the way to the Fiesta Bowl in, Phoenix on New Year's Eve? Or if you feel pretty confident in them winning, are you going to wait and buy your tickets to the Orange Bowl 2 weeks later? So in terms of the crowd, I definitely think if you can afford one or the other, you may hold off on the Fiesta Bowl and hope they can win. And let's also be honest, Mike, like Penn State's in a New Year's Six type bowl almost every year. Like going to the Fiesta Bowl is not necessarily a big deal for a Penn State fan. And especially if they're confident as a double-digit favorite they're going to win, they're going to bank on, I'm going to wait and buy my tickets for the Orange Bowl. And as you see, as by evident of them just already selling, and I don't know, maybe they sold Fiesta Bowl packages 2 weeks ago and now they're selling them the next round. I mean, I don't know all the details of their trips. I just found it interesting that they're 10 days away from playing in the Fiesta Bowl. And the first ad I get bombarded with is buy a package for the Orange Bowl. And whether it's them overlooking them, whether it's the same thing, whatever angle you want to take, I think Boise State I'm going to go 60-40 at least, I think, for the crowd, Mike Prater. I mean, I know a lot of people going down to this game for Boise State, and I don't think anybody, I will say this, if Boise State wins, it could be a tough crowd for them at the Orange Bowl. But I mean, you're going to get a lot of these people that either are going to wait for the championship or just can't afford to do it or whatever. But I think in this game means so much more to Boise State and their fans than probably it does for Penn State, and the travel being closer and the fact that it's, even if you had to, you could get on a bus or drive or whatever to get there. Like, I think Boise State fans are going to have a massive crowd advantage in this game. They've had the 2 week head start, like you've said. There's been all these tickets sitting out there on SeatGeek and StubHub and Ticketmaster that only Boise State fans have been fighting with themselves for. And I told people on Friday, if you're thinking about going still and don't have your tickets, buy them before that game ends, because all of a sudden the Penn State fans are going to flood the market and try to find them themselves. And they're going to have their 12,500, I think it's 12,500 that they're, their allotment that they're required to sell. But a lot of these tickets have probably already been scooped up by Boise State fans the last couple of weeks, and as I said, as you said correctly, I think a lot of the neutral observers will probably pull for Boise State, whether they're wearing an orange shirt and pulling for Boise State, in terms of that, or just cheering for them during the game. I don't know, but I think Boise State's going to have a massive advantage in the crowd in this game for a lot of different factors. And that video right there shows that I do think a lot of Penn State fans are probably waiting for the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, as we started off this show, as we were talking about this narrative, that 50-50 would be good for Boise State just to get to 50-50. Maybe you've talked me into a more accurate 60-40 in terms of advantage Boise State in terms of the fandom. So there's no doubt. That's one storyline that we can predict right now, that Boise State will not lose the fan battle, and that's pretty dang cool. That this little program, it's not a little program, this program that has this reputation of not being a Penn State can go out there and take care of business. We know the rich history of the Fiesta Bowl. A lot of people can drive there. I was doing some research before that game on Saturday, the SMU game, and it's 2 hours closer from Boise to Phoenix than it is from Dallas to Phoenix in terms of if you want to drive. That's how big stinking that South and how big Texas is and how much of a regional advantage it is for Boise State. So, let's bump that sucker up. No more 50-50 in terms of the fan participation. I think you're right. This is going to be advantage Boise State in the crowd. And if they can get up early, strike quick early, and do some things early, I can just see that momentum starting to build.
What are the chances they run a Statue of Liberty in this game?
They do what in 2 of the 3 they've run at least, right? I don't know if they did in the Kellen Moore. I don't know if they did. I don't
remember the 2010 game, but in the game last time against Arizona, they were up 14-0. They actually called like the 20-yard line, and Jay Ajayi pushed his way into the end zone and scored a touchdown on it. I don't know if that's something Dirk Cutter even has in the playbook, or is he? I don't know if he's the kind of guy that says we got to add that in before this game or what. But I mean, you would think if the situation's right, I think you got to pull out the Statue of Liberty in this game. Come on.
You've got to at least practice it, and it's not Dirk Cutter's style, as you know. I mean, that's the one knock on Dirk Cutter from fans so far this year is he's just not a trick play kind of guy, never has been. He's more business-like, and you know that, so it's not a knock on anything. But, if Spencer Danielson is promising the Fiesta Bowl uniforms, Dirk Cutter's got to at least put in a Statue of Liberty play into the playbook and practice that a few times. They got enough time where they can play with that a little bit, make the bowl practices a little bit of fun. Put it in the playbook, Dirk. I'm not sure you have to call it, but you definitely have to respect the past and the history. You've got to put that play in the playbook.
And I think you came on the show with me the Monday after we found out the bracket, or maybe it was that Sunday show at the James, and I said they got to go with the same uniform, right? And some people hadn't realized, maybe they wore the same uniform all 3 Fiesta Bowls: blue helmet, white jersey, orange pants. And that's kind of their just thing. I remember talking to Brian Harsin before the last one. He's like, is there any doubt we're going with the Fiesta look? And that's kind of, they don't wear it that often, but when they do wear it occasionally on the road, in a regular season game, it's called the Fiesta look. They wore it at Air Force one year, but it's kind of a special thing they don't bring out all that often. And they've confirmed, we already saw a video, which was pretty cool, of the patches getting sewn onto the white jerseys. And Spencer Danielson was on with Rich Eisen and basically said, we're rocking the Fiesta Bowl uniforms. Why wouldn't we? So I do think that they were the home team. They got to pick. They could have gone all blue. They could have gone a lot of different combinations. I hope the decal on the helmet, I hope they do something with that. I would love to see that kind of new retro logo they have with the state of Idaho and the horse. I think that would be kind of cool. Heck, maybe go to the throwback logo from the 06 Fiesta Bowl with the Boise State and the thing on it. I hope they do something different with the decal. I think they have a chance to still make it a fresh look to to an older combination. But I love the fact that Spencer's like, heck yeah, we're wearing that combo again.
I definitely want the state of Idaho with the Bronco horse. I love that. That's nostalgia for me. I'll never forget seeing that in the 80s and 90s and just busting that out. And you see old-fashioned videos when it used to be on that logo used to be on the 50-yard line of the field, and it's such a cool, warming feeling and a sense of pride for anybody that's born and raised here in the state of Idaho. That's my favorite. So give me that classic Fiesta Bowl look. Give me the Bronco inside the state of Idaho logo, which is give it a little bit of, I like the way you put that, a little bit of a fresh look. And let's roll. That's exactly what they need to get this thing started.
By the way, I'm very, very rarely right, Mike Prater, but people are saying in the chat on the Fiesta Bowl spread in 2007, Wholesome, while I was wrong, Oklahoma minus 7.5. Yeah, Google says 7.5. So it was not a 14-point spread. That was a 7.5 point spread. So I will take the rare W on that one. But it just seems like, I don't know, and I know when you're a national pundit, you don't think about all this. You don't know all this. You don't see all this and the history of Boise State and the underdog role and all that. And I get it. But as someone the last 12 years that has been here and has followed this program, and for you much longer, Mike Prater, like, I don't even care if Penn State was even way better than they are. All this would have me leaning towards Boise State just because of this. And I think Spencer Danielson is the perfect coach to lean into this part of this. And I mean, is a guy really trying harder on 3rd and 2 because, I want to prove these people wrong? Like, of course not. But I think in the prep leading up to the game and all that kind of stuff, I think it does make a little bit of a difference. And I do think we're talking about Penn State's fans overlooking Boise State. Like, it'd be only natural for Penn State's players as well to be thinking about, we have a chance to win the championship. We just got to get by them, and we're in the Final Four and all this. Like, I really do think, like I'm going to call it right now. Boise State wins this game, Mike Prater. I think
Wow.
Boise State is going to win this game. I've been dancing around it, but I just feel really confident, and that probably means they get blown out because I'm rarely right when it comes to this kind of stuff. But I just have one of those. occasionally I just get that weird feeling, and sometimes it just proves to be wrong. Sometimes it proves to be right. But you add all this together, I think it's a much closer matchup than people think. You throw in Genty being ticked off about the Heisman. You throw in the magic of Boise State at the Fiesta Bowl. You throw in, and I get it, Penn State's 7-0 their all-time as well, but they only have like one in the last 20 years, so it's a little different. But I think everything, all this underdog, all this stuff is all playing right into Boise State's hands, and I think 28-24, something like that. I think Boise State's moving on.
Wow, I'm not ready to quite go there. So I thought I was making a big, bold leap just taking the points, and I'm clearly taking the points, especially if they stay double digits. But I'm not quite ready to go with the Boise State upset victory right now. So we'll see how that plays out. I can't wait to see what Spencer says today, and certainly how they respond over these next few days. I know they're going to take a couple of days break, gather back here on Thursday. I think they fly down on Saturday. We'll be at media day all day Sunday. Access to all these different players, and you get a really pretty good vibe. You get 110 football players in a room, and you get a chance to talk to all of them. You get a good vibe. So we're going to get a little bit more of a vibe. Maybe I'll be there eventually with you, BJ, in terms of the upset victory. But right now, I'm sticking with just the points.
Well, you mentioned that you guys are going to be down there doing your show. You guys are not doing a show the next couple of days, correct?
Yeah, we're off until Thursday. We'll do shows on Thursday, Friday, 100% all dedicated to not only Boise State football and this Fiesta Bowl, but a year of the fan. We're going to have some year of the fan type stuff and Fiesta Bowl flashback stuff, all kinds of great stuff. And I know you got a bunch of stuff planned. We're going to be at the horse track next Monday. We'll be doing our show on Tuesday live from the stadium. And I think you're going to be right there on the stadium complex as well. So between Bronco Nation News, KTIK, Idaho Sports Talk, guys, we got so much different covered. Idaho Sports Talk, me and Johnny have never been to a Fiesta Bowl in terms of Boise State. So this is the first one for us, and I promise you that we're going to bring more excitement, a fresh feel, a fresh look, and a fresh approach. We're going to be like the rookies with the big wide eyes, all excited about what's going on down there. So if you could picture Johnny Ballgame taking excitement to a whole nother level, bring it on. That's what's going to happen starting Thursday.
Well, kudos KTIK for sending you guys. That was big time by whoever made the decisions, the higher ups at KTIK. That's awesome that you guys are going down there, and that's a big deal. And yeah, we will. Bronco Nation News is taking the scenic route. I'll be heading to San Jose on Saturday first to cover the basketball game, Boise State San Jose basketball, and then Bob and I are on a flight later that night to get down to Phoenix Saturday night. Thankful for the 2:00 tip-off. We can still make it down there Saturday. And then Sunday morning, as you said, 8 a.m., Penn State will have their media day. Every player on the roster is available for interviews. So that's going to be, got to plan ahead there in terms of who you want to try to talk to and have some fun with that. And it's basically the entire team for an hour just spread out in a big ballroom. That's going to be pretty cool for both teams. And then we'll have special Sunday show as well on BNN. Mike Sanford's going to be down there with us. So I'm really looking forward to having Sanford on location for pre and post and doing some cool things. And we're sending Jaden Finch, our part-time intern, ahead, so he'll be at the airport to get the team arrival and all that stuff. So we'll have everything covered from the start when the team arrives on the 28th. And we actually get to talk Mike Prater in 10 minutes to James Franklin. The head coach at Penn State is doing a Zoom here at 10 o'clock. And then Spencer Danielson will talk at noon. And then they'll have some other media available today. I believe on the 26th, there'll be Dirk Cutter and 4 offensive players. The 27th will be Eric Chenander and 4 defensive players. So a lot of media coming up this week, and then every day leading into the Fiesta Bowl. There's an open practice, I believe, on Sunday for 15 minutes. So we'll be able to see if, Sire Gaines or Tubner or who's out there for Boise State as well. So as you said, yeah, KTIK, we'll probably try to get you to jump on one of those shows at some point for a few minutes at least. We're going to be hopefully outside, maybe with the Camelback Mountain in the background. Who knows? We'll try to find something scenic while we're down there. But, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I've been to the 2014 Fiesta Bowl, obviously, and then was at 2 of their smaller bowl games, the Cactus Bowl that one year when Baylor boat raced them, and then one time when it was the Insight Bowl for KU. So this is my 4th time with this group. And they do a tremendous job putting on the bowl game. It's going to be awesome, a lot of fun. And glad you guys are going, Mike, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think folks should know by now that there's, only a couple outlets, KTVB included, KTIK and BNN, in terms of where you can turn to get your coverage. And I think that's going to be the case again down here in Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be spectacular. It's going to be fun. So I hope everybody has a great holiday season, great couple of days, a great Christmas, and on Wednesday. But I know people wake up on Christmas morning all excited, and I'm going to be with my family. You're going to be with your family, and all that's really, really cool. But for me, Christmas morning comes Thursday morning. And that's when you kind of wake up. That's when an old grumpy sports writer wakes up with all kinds of pounds in his step. And I'm really looking forward to Thursday, Friday, and getting on a plane over the weekend and getting down there. So it's going to be a blast, BJ. We're going to get you on all our shows as well, a lot of cross coverage, and we're going to cover this sucker from start to finish, and I cannot wait.
Whenever you say the morning after Christmas, all I think about is the first responder bowl being canceled and missing Christmas with my family, and then being in Dallas and that game getting canceled, and the whole couple of days. I just don't bring up the morning after Christmas. That's not a day when it comes to Boise State that I like thinking of. Mike, appreciate
Let's
it.
start a new tradition this year.
For a few more minutes. I got some sponsors to thank. Talk a little basketball, and then we got James Franklin. I don't know if I can tap into that or not, but we'll appreciate you, Mike, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
There he is, Mike Prater. Appreciate him for jumping on, even though they don't have a show today on KTIK. But Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, thespateam.com, locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. Whether you're looking for a sauna, pool table, a game, for the game room, a spa, they got you covered. Check them out online, thespateam.com. They got some great sales going on with our friends at Lithia Ford of Boise. Get holiday ready. The final days of their sale event, the new 2024 Ford Expedition Limited. You can save $12,000 on that. The new 2024 Ford F-150 STX Super Crew, almost $9,000 in savings on that. And just an unbelievably cool looking vehicle. The 2024 Ford Bronco Badlands, save $8,500 on that as well. They got some great deals going on. It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event at Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online, lithiafordboise.com. And that all-wheel drive vehicles, make sure you're ready. The weather's getting cold, and they've got you covered there at Lithia Ford of Boise. Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. They are hiring. Check them out. The SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, TacoBellWorks.com. Check them out. They're hiring. Great promotional opportunities, free food while you work, half your wages the next day after your shift. So they have some great opportunities if you're looking for a job this holiday season, and the food's pretty darn good as well. So check them out. Taco Bell, and we appreciate the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, for their support of Bronco Nation News. Speaking of Jobs, Transportation Compliance Service. It's a locally owned company helping folks all over the world. If you want to get into the trucking industry, maybe get out there as a truck driver. You haven't thought about it. It's a booming industry right now in the pandemic. So check them out. Transcomservice.com. More information. The Fiesta Bowl gear is at the Blue and Orange store. Please count us out. The shirts are there. I got to pick up a couple last minute. I'm speaking quiet because my family's visiting in town. I got a couple final Christmas presents I may need to go get today at the Blue and Orange store. So the blueandorangestore.com. They got the Please Count Us Out shirts. The orange one is the perfect shirt to wear to the game. All your Fiesta Bowl gear, get it at the Blue and Orange store online, theblueandorangestore.com, from anywhere in the world. But if you are in the Boise area, just go to the Boise Town Square Mall there, the second floor next to Pro Image. All your Fiesta Bowl gear, great last-minute Christmas gift. You can get it at the Blue and Orange store. Our friends at Jackson's want to remind you that coming in January, $2 for a hot dog and a soda when the Broncos score 70 points. 70 points gets you hot dog and a soda for $2 at Jackson's coming up in January and February. And don't forget, 25 cents from every hot dog sold goes to support the Horseshoe Collective at Boise State. And they donated $100,000 in 2024 to the Horseshoe Collective just from hot dog sales. So next time you're looking for that cold drink, snack, a hot dog, make sure you get it at Jackson's. Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. Speaking of food, 10,000 plus combinations, steak, shrimp, chicken, fish, all diets, all fully customizable, fresh, not frozen. It's good for 5 days in your refrigerator. You pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes. The best meal prep you can find. They're feeding the football team, the basketball team. They're feeding everybody. Check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. We do have a voicemail that I want to play. Speakpipe.com/BNN. Speakpipe.com/BNN is where you can leave a voicemail for us. It's courtesy of My Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 20 years. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an inspection, an estimate, they got you covered. Signature Roofing. Check them out for all your roofing needs. But they sponsor our voicemail inbox, and we've got one from our friend Ray in Walla Walla on BSU Hoops.
Hi, this is
Roy from Walla Walla, Washington.
Wanting to
Wanting to comment on Saturday's men's basketball victory over Air Force.
I think
anybody who went into Saturday's game
thinking it was
going to be a waltz in the park for the Broncos
is
basically divorced from reality.
I recall
last year the Broncos
struggled with
Air Force at Extra Mile Arena
and then came on strong in the second half. Same thing happened on Saturday. Thankfully,
the Broncos were able to prevail.
They're
1-0 in the conference, 9-3 overall.
I also think that
folks, if they
look past San Jose State
and Wyoming, are looking for a snoot full of trouble.
You've got to respect every opponent. And as Coach Danielson has said on the football side, our next game is the biggest game of the year. Now, I know it's a cliche. I know it's not the sexy answer that the media wants to hear, but the fact of the matter is the Broncos have to get after it at San Jose State and at Wyoming. And if they're able to do that, then we can put all that focus on that San Diego State game the first weekend of January. Great coverage. Love it. It's a great part of my day. A part of my day I always look forward to. It's BNN. Go Broncos.
Well, we appreciate Roy from Walla Walla. I apologize for the double audio there. Not sure what happened on that. I had to mute my mic later at the end, but apologize for that. But Roy was commenting on the win over Air Force, basically saying, who cares if it wasn't pretty early? They got the win by 20, and now they got a couple games. And he said, as he says, don't look past San Jose or Wyoming, two tricky road games, but obviously an opportunity for Boise State to get to 3-0 before they host San Diego State. But so thank you, Roy. You'll be thrown in the pot there for the gift card we're going to give away. Anybody else that wants to give us a voicemail, we would love to have it. Bronco Nation News, again, speakpipe.com/BNN. I got to jump off here. We got James Franklin coming up in 2 minutes. The Penn State coach is holding a Zoom in 2 minutes, so I got to jump off. We appreciate all you guys for your support of Bronco Nation News. $50 for a full year at BNN 50 deal. Check it out. BNN 50 deal gets you a full year at BroncoNationNews.com. Mike Prater, Nathan Carroll, myself, all of our articles, all of our other content we got working on. We would love to have you guys. And again, BNN 50 deal is the promo code. We'll get James Franklin up on our YouTube channel this afternoon. We're heading down to get Spencer Danielson at noon. So it's a big full work day here at BNN, and we'll have you covered as we continue to get you set for the Fiesta Bowl. Support the sponsors, folks, many of which you see behind here. Support all of our great sponsors. Subscribe, tell your friends, like the video, and I'm going to listen to James Franklin, and then we'll get that posted this afternoon. But appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. We will have a Christmas Eve show tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you then. Bronco Nation News live from the Western Collective Studios. Thanks to our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. We'll talk to you on the YouTube channel, and we'll talk to you on the website, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Bronco Nation News live here at Bronco Nation News.